Everyone, this is Nidhi Srivastav. I am at Doggiversity on Instagram, and I'm very excited to be here on Pedigree India's page. I'll quickly introduce myself while everybody joins. I'm a canine behavior consultant and a canine trainer based in the Delhi NCR area. So hi everyone saying hi. Very excited to be here. So we're going to be talking about small breeds today. Any questions you all have, please put them in the chat box or the little question mark symbol that you see at the bottom. That's where you can ask the questions, and I will try to give priority to the questions that are asked in the question box. Very excited to see all of you, so many people joining. I'm Nidhi. You can find me on at Doggiversity in case you have any follow-up questions, but I have a good amount of time to talk to you about all your small breeds and your big dogs and small dogs who think they're big dogs, small dogs who don't know they're actually now grown up dogs now. So we're going to talk about all those. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe small breeds a little bit, and I'm going to tell you my biggest concerns that I have whenever I see a small dog. So small dogs, typically for the purpose of this talk, we'll be discussing breeds who are smaller than 35 centimeters in height and about 14, 15-ish kilos. So what are the breeds that come under that? We have Beagles, Indian Spitz, Pomeranians, Pugs, French Bulldogs, all your different kind of terriers, Yorkshire Terriers, Boston Terriers. You also have your Maltese, Toy Poodles, Chihuahua, very common, the first name that comes to your mind when you think of a small dog. Shih Tzus, of course, who were created from Lhasa Apsos. Indian breed, Jonangi would be one of the Indian breeds. Of course, our good old Desi dogs also are smaller in size. Yes, thank you all. You're being very interactive and listing down the breeds for me. If you're able to remember any breeds that I did not name, please feel free to note them and I will give you a shout out. Okay. Yes, Pekingese. Yes, thank you. Okay, very, very enthusiastic. Thank you so much. So these breed come with their set of expectations. I think let's start with expectations. What do we think when we are considering a smaller dog than any other dog that we might have the option of? We want dogs who are maybe cuter, who are less intimidating to our neighbors, to our family members. We expect them to be just generally nicer companion dogs. And yes, that is one of the main reasons why smaller breeds have been developed by humans over the last thousands of years. And what really another factor that comes in when we are considering a smaller breed is that since we are living in apartments nowadays, we're living in smaller houses, we assume that these smaller dogs are going to do better inside our apartments, right? Or inside even a smaller house, or maybe a crowded neighborhood where there aren't a lot of parks or places for dogs to run around. Let me bust that one myth. There are certain breeds within the small dogs that are not going to do well inside a small apartment simply because they are high energy. Can anybody maybe name hounds that come under the small breed category? I will come back to this question, but yes, some breeds do have a lot of energy, and even though they are small, that does not mean that they are going to be happy living inside the house all day, all long, or all day, all week. You do need to take out. Thank you, Ace the Cocker Spaniel, for reminding me of Cocker Spaniels. Yes, hi. We have a little Cocker Spaniel here. Yes, and from my end, I don't know whether this is going to be recorded. Yes, okay, so we're back, we're live. and I am going to come to your questions. But I do want to point out that your dog, whether it's a small dog or a big dog, is yet a dog. They do have canine needs. They do have the minds of a canine. They're not small cats, they're not small babies. They are going to need a lot of love, a lot of affection, proper care, proper care. They're going to need proper nutrition, which is why we are here. But also they are going to need basic training. I see a lot of people who ignore training for their smaller dogs because simply, if your small dog is being naughty, you can simply pick up the dog and put it somewhere else. Don't do that. That will create what we call the small dog syndrome. It's a very cute name for a very serious issue. It can lead to a lot of aggression problems in small dogs. And sometimes because they're smaller, the bite is smaller, it does feel like, given all the options, I would rather be bitten by a small dog than a larger dog. But trust me, the dog is undergoing the same trauma which caused it to bite you, whatever the reason for that bite now. So you're missing out on some deep visceral need inside that dog, which is not maybe being met, whether it is fear, whether it is discomfort. So don't ignore any kind of bad behavior in your dogs, right? Okay, so small dogs, again, nutrition is important. What happens with them is that they can be fussy. Their nutritional needs are a little different. If somebody, for example, a lot of you I'm seeing in the comments have Labradors, so of course a smaller dog will be eating less than that. And sometimes, because we're so used to having larger dogs in our life, we expect the smaller dogs to also be eating all the time. Do take care of their nutrition. So typically, like, a packet of food would have the appropriate amount of food written at the back of the packet, which is a good advice, which is a good guideline to follow, because you don't want to overfeed your dog and you don't want to create a dog who is a fussy eater. So make sure your puppy is getting the appropriate amount of nutrition in a day. And if they're not eating, if they don't want to eat for a few hours, that's fine. Sometimes dogs don't want to eat for a few hours, for maybe on a hot day, or maybe on a day that they've had maybe too many treats. It's fine to pick up the bowl and say, okay, you can have the next meal. Yes, pedigree is definitely a very tasty food to be giving to your dogs, as I can see in the comments. The other thing with small breeds is a lot of these breeds are brachycephalic. So brachycephalic is the condition of having a shortened head, a shortened snout. So it will look like a flat-faced dog for you. What you want to do with these dogs is be very careful and be aware of all the medical conditions that come with this condition of brachycephalia. So you have a lot of breathing issues. You will actually hear, for example, pugs or Shih Tzus breathing really heavily. They're not allowed to fly for the same reason. You have to be careful about the skin which is on their face. It is very prone to infections. There's also a lot of unnatural pressure on the eyeballs. So do be careful that you're watching for these symptoms. You should be very aware of these symptoms in your dogs. Right. So I am going to come to the questions shortly. If you all have questions, please put them in the question box so that I can give priority to those questions. I can certainly help you. I am going to finish off my points because I have some very important points. We already talked about the flat-faced dogs. They do have breathing conditions, heart conditions. They're prone to overheating in the summers. Then a lot of these smaller breeds, like your Shih Tzus, your Lhasa Apsos, even some of the terriers, will have special coats. They will have coats that are harder to maintain. So be very careful that you are grooming them every day. As a trainer, I'm not concerned whether your dog has a fancy haircut or not. What I am concerned about is whether your dog enjoys the haircut, whether they enjoy being groomed or not. Always make sure any grooming, especially with small dogs, you will have breeds that do require very specific grooming needs. So you want to make sure that they're enjoying it, whether you're using treats, whether you're using a calm, soothing voice. So do make sure you're grooming them every single day. Right. So I'll come to the questions now. Clayton Malcolm Smith has a question that they have a mix between a pug and a spitz, and she's not eating lately. What should I do? So I want to know how many days has it been that she's not been eating, and if she's not eating, then you first want to consult a vet and see if there is no health issue. She's not actually having any discomfort in her body, which is causing a loss of appetite. If you are in a warm weather place, which a lot of parts in the country are now experiencing a heat wave, it is very normal for dogs to not be feeling hungry, right? So it is okay. You can cool down her food, you can freeze it, you can make it more interesting to eat. You can use games or toys, or you can do a little bit of basic training with her food so that she feels more motivated to eat. Make sure if it's because of heat that she is in a cool place. Go Nirvana that underscore org is asking how to make friendly bond between stray dogs during rescue time. So whenever you're approaching a stray dog, and you will be, because you're doing this amazing rescue work, you will come across a lot of dogs who are in already a state of fear or discomfort. So you want to make sure you're not suddenly going towards them and sort of overwhelming or cornering them. In that moment, it might seem like the best and easiest option to capture them and get them to the nearest vet. But if you have some food with you, if you have some treats, spend some time, go low on the ground. Always approach the dog at its level, which is closer to the ground. So sit down, squat down, and let the dog approach you. Slowly, it might take 15-20 minutes. A lot of dogs might be a lot of passerbys might be just wondering what you're doing, but trust me, your dog will thank you for it later. Okay, so what is the speciality of the Yorkshire Terrier? They are small dog. All terriers they come from the word terra, which is like earth dog. They are descended from hounds, who were hunting dogs. They will be they were specifically made to be so small so they could hunt smaller game, and over time it became more for companionship. We have more of the characteristics of having a good companion in that dog. Shih Tzu 2 months old eats too much food. We have this question again in the question box. Right, if your puppy is eating too much food, well, it's a puppy, it does need to eat a lot of food. It should be he or she, they should be eating as much as the vet or nutritionist has recommended. Or if you have a bag of packaged food like Pedigree, there will be a guideline at the back of it, and if they're eating that much, that's great. I want to know, if you're here, if you're watching live, how is your puppy telling you that they're hungry? Because typically we are misinterpreting those signals from the dog, and they're not actually hungry. Maybe they just want to play. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit and go through the questions. I have a senior pug. What should I give her now? Is a question that we had a few minutes ago. Again, you can give her any good brand of food. They will need less calories because she will not be very active. So be careful of not overfeeding her and giving her all her needs. So it should be a balanced diet. There should be a lot of calcium. There should be a lot of vitamins, minerals. Then we have a question of Okay, hello, my puppy Dachshund. They always eat what they get in the kitchen, even dust. How do they uh, stop him? Okay, so if they are eating non-food items, that's called pica. Pica is a condition that may be caused by, it's very likely that it is caused by some kind of nutritional deficiency, especially because your puppy is, well, a puppy. Do get him to a vet, do get them to a vet, and try to figure out what nutrition they are lacking in, and they will stop eating dust. Also, ask yourself what is your puppy getting from the dust or any non-food items like stones, rocks. What exactly are they getting apart from nutrition? So one is, of course, the minerals. There might be calcium, there might be something that they really want from that. But are you creating a big fuss? Are you running towards them, getting it out of their mouth? Is it the only time they actually get a lot of your attention? Maybe they're getting, a lot of the family members are running towards the puppy and trying to stop him from eating these things. So you need to have scheduled play times. Tire your puppy. I think we, down the list, we will have um, at what age are beagles good for first time owners? Do be careful that beagles are hounds. They are going to need a lot of walks, they are going to need a lot of nose work exercises. They are going to because they use their scent for hunting, that's what they were bred for. And right now they are being placed in apartments. Do be very careful that just because they are small dogs does not mean that you can skip on the walks or you can expect them to lie around. They will have a lot of energy that you will have to burn. How to stop the biting of a Pomerian puppy? Okay, cool. So, why do puppies bite? One reason, one common misconception is that they are hungry. Stop feeding your puppies because they start biting you. That is the number one thing to stop. Have a schedule. You have to sit down with your family. You have to make a daily schedule for your puppy that, okay, we are going to feed them at 9 a.m, we are going to feed them at 1 p.m, we are going to feed them at 5 p.m, and then the last meal is going to be at so and so time. Follow that schedule. Any time out of that, if your puppy is coming and biting you, please do not give them any treats or any food. The second thing is they need to be teething. They really using their mouth area to explore the world. So do give them a lot of toys of different textures, give them chew sticks, give them chewy food. You can freeze a part of their food so that they spend a lot of time using their mouth in appropriate ways, which is chewing on their own toys. Stop and redirect. Do not allow your puppy to keep biting you. If your puppy starts biting you, just get up and go to the next room. And you may have to keep repeating this for a number of days before your puppy actually understands that you do not like them biting you. Make sure your puppy knows that they are hurting you and you don't want this behavior to continue. Okay, so I'm going to go down a little bit. So I'm going back to the chat box and see if there are more questions over here. So my family is vegetarian. Should my golden retriever eat veg or non-veg is necessary? Dogs are omnivores. They do need a lot of animal protein. So I would recommend, if you're okay with giving maybe a packaged food, maybe you can keep the pack of food outside your house, like maybe in a locked box outside the door. If it's not okay for your family to bring the food inside, you can always keep it in a hidden spot and feed your dog outside the house if that's a cause of concern. But certainly your dog does need animal protein. Specific food for their health, consult a nutritionist or follow a diet which is well balanced. So you need to maybe have a longer chat on this. What is the specific health issue that you're concerned about? how can we control the hair fall of the dog? I've just figured out that I can click on the questions and that will also display the questions for you. So please bear with me. How can we control the hair fall of the dog? They will be shedding a lot in the warm weather. If the weather has been changing from cold to warm or changing a lot, they will be shedding. For shedding, do make sure that you groom the dog and help the process along every single day. So you sit down with your dog, you get a bunch of treats in your hand, or you get a long lasting chew that your dog can be enjoying while you're gently combing or brushing their coat, and you will help a lot with the hair fall. Also check for any nutritional deficiencies. Make sure they're eating a well balanced diet. Okay, I have it. Okay, so we had a question on loss of appetite, and yes, you are living in a humid place, so yes, the appetite will go down a little bit. Exercise her a little bit. Maybe you can let her run around, play with her, make sure she's interested in other activities, she's hydrated, and she should be fine. A little bit of lack in appetite is not a major concern if it's only there for a few hours or for a few meals. Okay, all right. So at what age puppies should be allowed to climb up stairs, up or down, as it puts loads on the joints? This is a question by Chinmay Desai. Okay, so Chinmay, your puppy can go up and down the stairs. What they can't do is jump up and down the stairs. So make sure they're walking slowly and gently. Some puppies will be naturally scared because because this closer to the ground, it looks like a scary place to go down. Do use positive reinforcement. Use a few rewards and treats to encourage them. Make sure you're not getting them too excited, otherwise they will start jumping. You are right, their joints are very prone to various injuries at this point. Is it okay? I'm not understanding the question. Supplements should be given. So the question is, if we are giving premium commercial food, then still supplements are required. Some puppies might have some dogs and puppies might be having underlying health conditions, and your vet would be the best person to ask whether your puppy does need supplements. But usually they would be getting a lot of nutrition from the food. Okay. Let me scroll down. There's so many questions. Is it necessary to change deworming medicine every time as worms develop immunity? I'm not the best person to answer this. There are natural ways of deworming your dog as well. Make sure they're not eating a lot of things off the floor is one of the best advice I can give. Do dogs have COVID vaccine? Okay, so dogs do have a certain kind of coronavirus that they can get. It should be included in the packaged vaccine that they get, the 6-in-1 or the 9-in-1. You can check with your vet if that vaccination has been done or not, but the human coronavirus is not transmissible to dogs from what we know as of now. What if if a puppy of 1 month doesn't drink water? That would be a very serious issue. I would be very concerned if a puppy is not drinking water. I want to know, Khushpreet, if what the weather is like is 1 month or two doesn't drink water. Yes, can you also tell me a little more? Are they active? Are they running around? that really should not be happening. Water is a very essential part of life, of survival. You can encourage your puppy to drink water by, maybe some dogs are they like running water, so maybe open a tap that is at your puppy's level, see if that gets them to drink water. You can add a few treats, or you can add a little bit of the puppy food in the water so that it tastes a little better. Some adult dogs usually can be a little careful about the water that they're drinking, but a puppy, really, I'll be very concerned. So okay, so if he's active, it should be okay. How long has he not been drinking water? Doesn't drink water much. Okay, do try running water, try changing the flavor of the water with some treats of food. Otherwise, make the food only. Give them lots of maybe chicken soup, or soak your packaged food in water and see if he's having that. Otherwise, definitely take him to a vet. Okay. What are the main? So I'm avoiding questions that are for large breeds, because today specifically the topic is small breeds. If you all have questions, you can always DM the page, or you can DM me on @Doggiversity. Is it good to? Yes, definitely. You can. Give how many times should we feed an adult Shih Tzu? So for an adult dog, 1 or 2 meals a day should be enough. I hope that answers your question. Right, we have one more question. How to stop puppy biting? Right, so we have already, but I will once again repeat the recommendations. The recommendations for puppy biting is to give activities to your dog, give them a good way to interact with you, a positive way, because otherwise puppy biting becomes a way for your puppy to approach you and initiate play. They should have an appropriate, a loud way, like, okay, you can bring your toy towards me, you can bring, maybe you can come at me and you can sit down in front of me, you can look at me with puppy eyes, something like that, which tells you that your dog needs something. Otherwise, they do resort to inappropriate behaviors like biting or barking or something like that. So you do want your puppy to have these activities in a day which keep boredom away, and some toys that maybe you're carrying around in your pocket, so that every time your puppy is coming towards you, you have something that you can redirect your puppy's mouth towards, those little sharp teeth that are in your puppy's mouth. So we have a question: is it okay to give chicken and mutton bones to dogs? I would say do not ever give, there's a strong statement to be making, but don't give cooked bones to dogs. You can give raw bones to dogs. Make sure you have cleaned them properly and disinfected them by freezing them. But definitely don't give cooked bones, because when they chew cooked bones, they splinter and can cause very serious ruptures in their intestines and like the internal system. What types of bones to puppy, like rawhide, calcium bones? So again, I would want to know what is the purpose that you're trying to achieve with the bones, because if it's calcium, yes, you can give a calcium bone as a treat. It takes about 5 minutes to eat through that calcium bone. It's not going to be a long lasting entertainment for your dog. If that's your hope, then of course rawhide is one option that I don't like a lot, because it has a lot of chemicals. It's processed in ways that render it quite unhealthy for our dogs. So I do avoid rawhides. What I do go for is the yak milk bones, or I go for raw bones you can give. You can also take a Kong toy and you can stuff it with some part of their food, or you can stuff it with peanut butter, anything, something for your puppy to be chewing on, right? Please suggest a solution for overshedding. Again, we've discussed this, but to quickly revise, do check whether the nutrition is appropriate or not. If the weather is changing, there will be shedding. You want to help that process along by giving them daily grooming sessions. So do make sure you're sitting down with your dog, you're taking a nice, comfortable spot, maybe in the balcony or something, and you're taking a brush or a comb and giving your dog a nice combing and brushing session, so that you can help with the shedding, and all the shedding also happens in one spot and the cleanup is easier. If it's too much, then do check with your vet. There could be some kind of medical issue, but also stress can be contributing to overshedding. You do want to make sure your dog is getting a lot of downtime, is getting long walks. If that's not happening, your dog could be building up stress in their body. Is it compulsory to give vaccination? Please check with your vet what the vaccination schedule should be. Some puppies and dogs are more vulnerable depending on their breed or depending on their medical history. So do carry all your papers every time. Remember, your dog is not going to be able to say the symptoms to your vet, so your vet has to go a lot on the basis of what you are saying to them, the symptoms that you have noticed, and what papers you're carrying with you. At what age can we give our puppies treats? So this is a really good question. Thank you. So puppies do have sensitive stomachs. In general, dogs' stomachs are a bit more sensitive than ours. We can eat all kinds of junks and usually nothing really bad happens to us. But we do need to be a little more careful with what we are feeding our dogs, right? So with puppies, I would always be a little careful in changing their diet. I would be careful whenever I'm giving them a treat. I would start with a very small piece first, maybe a very just one piece of whatever treat I've got from the market, and I would give that treat, wait for 24 hours. Any changes in the poop is a great indicator of how the food is. So you want to check that it settled down well with your puppy, and then the next day you can increase it to 2 treats. If your puppy is really young or has had maybe digestive issues in the past or is currently maybe unwell, then you can use part of their food, part of the normal regular food that they're eating at the regular meal times, for training or for the purpose of treats. So just instead of adding extra calories, you are using part of the meals itself. Okay, is there any dry food for senior dog in pedigree? I'm sure there would be. How to, guys, I'm not going to be able to decipher any spelling errors, so please, do you recommend taking out puppy before vaccinations for socializing? Again, another really good question from you. I love this question because usually I say that please weigh the pros and cons. If you have a sensitive breed, if your puppy is having a lot of health conditions, is suffering from something, then please don't take them out before the vaccinations are complete. But why we say that don't take the puppy out is because there is a likelihood of them picking up germs from the ground on their paws or on their coat, and then coming back and licking themselves and ingesting those germs, which then go on and create a disease in their body, right? So that's why we wait till the vaccinations are done before we can take out the puppy, because in our country there are dogs everywhere, so it's safe to assume that there are a lot of pathogens outside in the environment which our puppies can pick up. That said, the socializing window is also the same window that the vaccinations are being done. So your puppy has a socialization window, which, by the way, thank you for bringing me back to the topic of